Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Kunta Wibawa, the Consul General of Indonesia in New York, Mr. Erwinanto Adi, distinguished representatives of World Bank, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to the Consulate General of Indonesia in New York. My name is Amanda, and I will be your Master of Ceremony today. Welcome to this event, the International Vendor Conference on Medical and Laboratory Equipment Suppliers. This event is a part of Indonesian government's effort to transform its healthcare system. And today's event aims to provide information and gather inputs from international stakeholders for Indonesia 3 projects that aims to strengthen the primary healthcare system, referral system, and national laboratory. And without further ado, please welcome the first remark from the Consul General of Indonesia in New York, Mr. Erwinanto Adi. Mr. Consul General, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon us. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Mr. Kunto Wibowo Dasanugraha, Secretary General of the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Indonesia, representative from World Bank, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's very good morning. Allow me to first welcome you to the Consulate General of Indonesia in New York. And I would also like to thank the Ministry of Health for this collaboration. It is an honor to host each and every one of you into this event. Before I touch upon the issue of health, allow me to inform you that this year, 2024, is a special year for Indonesia and the US because we are commemorating the 75th anniversary of our diplomatic relations with the United States. And the United States inspired us in our struggle for our independence, as well as US is among the first nations that recognize our independence. And this very venue actually is quite historical for us because it is also the first time we struggle to get the recognition as the new nation around 75 years ago. So this year is very special. So this event also very special for us. In this regard, the Consulate General of Indonesia will continue to strive to strengthen the bilateral ties between the two countries, including in health sector. I hope this event will be one step towards that end. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 years, the transformation of healthcare system has always been high in Indonesia's agenda. The government of Indonesia continues to improve the availability, accessibility, acceptability, and quality of our healthcare services to better respond to the people's need. Among our best achievement is the establishment of a universal healthcare coverage system, one of its kind in the world that not even the US has it because it's very cheap. However, I mean the cheap is the premium, not the service. However, the healthcare coverage alone is not enough. The improvement in the quality of healthcare
Hören mich und eine Konferenz aus New York gerade.
In ensuring that everyone can enjoy the right to health to its fullest. In this regard, the government of Indonesia is currently in the early implementing 3 major projects to strengthen our primary healthcare providers, public laboratories, and national referral system. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I believe transforming Indonesia's healthcare system would require at least three important collaborations. First is collaboration between the government of Indonesia and international organizations. Healthcare transformation is a feat that requires vast amount of time, energy, financial, and human resources. We greatly appreciate the World Bank for its continued support for Indonesia. Second is the collaboration between Indonesia and private international vendors in health sectors. Fulfilling the healthcare equipment demand for its nearly 280 million population is not something that Indonesia can do it on its own. Today's conference aims exactly to address such challenge. New York, as one of the centers of excellence for healthcare equipment, is highly relevant with this objective. Today, we hope to identify potential international partners or vendors that can work together with Indonesia in procuring healthcare equipment for its people. Lastly, is the collaboration between stakeholders within Indonesia. Collaboration with international partners will be futile if stakeholders within Indonesia does not work together to ensure that every step of implementation is being carried out in accordance with national context, laws, and regulation. In this regard, allow me to reiterate that the Consulate General of Indonesia in New York, as part of Indonesian government, is committed to work together with every stakeholder to support the transformation of healthcare system in Indonesia. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is in my hope that this event can be a catalyst for collaborations between all stakeholders to achieve the transformation of Indonesia's healthcare system. Once again, I thank you for your participation and wishing you a good discussion. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Consul General, for the remarks. For the next agenda, I would like to invite the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Kuntawibawa Dasanugraha, to give his keynote speech. To Mr. Secretary General, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The most honorable Your Excellency Bapak Winanto Adi, Consul General of the Republic of Indonesia in New York, the World Bank team as a MDB's representative. Actually, they are not only World Bank, they have a World Bank, ADB, AIIB, and Islamic Development Banks, and all the participants and vendors. If I read wrong, we have a virtual participants too, almost 100, almost 100%. Even though we have a different time, but they are still committed to come. So we know that the Indonesian Ministry of Health has been entrusted by the President with the responsibility of reforming the country's healthcare system. The main objective of the reform is to promote healthy living and well-being for all ages, in line with SDGs indicator number 3, because this is all achievement on that. The aim is to increase productivity by caring for productive individuals and treating the sick. It is worth noting that Indonesia is currently in the demographic bonus period. According to the Indonesian Central Bureau of Statistics data, it appears that Indonesia is currently experiencing a demographic bonus, which happens when a country's population of productive age reaches its maximum. Then, and this is just one time in our period. So it's how we can handle this demography is very important to make Indonesia become how achieve in the high income countries. This is how to handle it, and how we can do it is the important thing right now. So we know that as of 2023, Indonesia's GNI, gross national income per capita, is around 4,580 US dollar, leaving a gap of around 8,000 US dollar to reach high income status. Because if we want to become high income status, our GNI is around 13,000 dollar per capita per year. It is estimated that by 2030, 68% of the population, or around 205 million people, will be of productive age. This opportunity presents a significant moment for Indonesia to improve its economic status and become a developed country. However, we now understand that Indonesia is still facing several challenges, including a catastrophic disease crisis that has resulted in a high mortality rate and financial burdens, such as 2.5 of 1,000 people are at risk of having a stroke every year, of which 15% are at risk of dying. And 1 of 1,000 people are at risk of having a heart attack, of which about 11% are at risk of dying. And the third is 70% cancer patients often come with advanced stages in the hospital because we didn't have many medical devices. So when they have a cancer, we already in this advanced stages. So it's become a diet. Yeah? If we can handle in the early stages, usually they become a cure. Yeah? But because they in the advanced stages, it is very hard for us. And last, the more than 70% increase in the number of cases of end-stage kidney disease in 2019. So with this condition, it is acknowledged that early detection is key to preventing the diseases in question. Indonesia has thus implemented a health transformation agenda, like Kunjan mentioned, with a primary focus on promoting healthy lifestyles, expanding immunization, mandatory screening, and improving the quality and accessibility of primary health services. So we want to moving our mindset from curative to promotive preventive. The services are organized into 6 pillars of health transformation. I think we already know about that. Yeah, we have a 6 pillar under our health transformation. The first is a primary care transformation. So we want to make people understand about the healthy, not to make them change their habit and everything. And the second pillar is referral services transformation. And we concentrate in the 5 diseases: cancer, stroke, heart attacks, kidney, and mother and kid disease. The third pillar is health resilient system transformation. This is because when the COVID happened, we understand that even though we have money, we cannot buy our medical devices. So it's time for us to have a resilience about our medical device, pharmaceuticals, and everything. The fourth pillar is about the transformation of health financing system to strengthen our universal health coverage. And the fifth pillar is the transformation of health human resources, because all the transformation, all the reform is the key is human resources, especially in the health employer. The last is health technology transformation. We try to make a big database and biotechnology. So through Indonesian Health Transformation Agenda, we are trying to significantly improve primary and referral healthcare by first revitalizing network of 300,000 posyandu, 10,000 puskesmas, and 514 city-level public health laboratories using SOPI and INPOS. And expanding routine immunization from 11 to 14 antigens, incorporating HPV, PC5, and rotavirus vaccines that prevent cervical cancer, as well as decreasing infant mortality from pneumonia and diarrhea. The third is increasing screening of 14 priority diseases, accounting for the highest cause of death in age group. Something like diabetes, stroke, stress, and everything. Improving maternal and child health through equipping primary care with essential equipment, including USG for antenatal care, among others. The last is improving referral hospital services, especially for catastrophic diseases such as cancer, heart disease, stroke, and neuronephrology also lack the necessary infrastructure, medical equipment, and skilled healthcare professionals to provide high-quality care, which is currently leading to overcrowding, long wait times, and inadequate treatments. So based on that, through a strong partnership with multilateral development banks, Indonesia envisages to accelerate the provision of health infrastructure in Indonesia. Private sector participation is invited to support the program by providing the necessary medical equipment and consumables to fill capacity gaps. It is believed that with this support, Indonesia's national health system can be improved. Additionally, all health facilities at any level are capable of providing excellent health services. To make everybody have the same access in Indonesia, because we have a lot of islands and everything, to make them distribute equally. So the conference is the third in a series of international vendor conferences. The first conference was held in Hong Kong on 12th January, and the second was held in Paris on 11th January. And today we are in New York, so this is 1 week we are moving from Hong Kong, Paris, and New York. These conferences were held on top of 3 vendor conferences in Jakarta last year. So on top of that, we have a vendor conference in Jakarta. So the purpose of this conference is to facilitate face-to-face meetings, which we believe will enhance the clarity of information delivery. In the end, the discussions and valuable inputs gathered throughout the conferences will help to improve the procurement process. This conference aims to facilitate knowledge exchange and build partnership. We are cognizant that there will be a lot of room of improvements along the way. Noting all the discussion and valuable inputs, we are not aiming to achieve the first best solution. For this big procurement task, it will be difficult to be implemented. So we are learned that if we try to achieve the first best, usually it's hard to do it. But we can do it looking for the second or third best solution. But we work and we implement it. Because I still heard that many questions, many concern from the vendors and everything, but I think we can do right now gitu ya, not just discuss every time and become hard for us to achieve the best. So based on that, after this series of conference, we will immediately hold the bidding process as soon as we need to have a bidding process. Henceforth, for the fruitful discussion that will happen today, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the participants for your valuable contributions. The last thing, we would also like to express our sincere gratitude to the Consulate General of the Republic of Indonesia in New York for the invaluable assistance in facilitating this activity. The vendor conference is an important step in the ongoing procurement process, and it is hoped that this partnership will have a positive impact on the quality of health services in Indonesia. Thank you and enjoy the vendor conference.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, for the keynote speech. Distinguished participant, ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to enter the main agenda of today's event. That is the presentation and discussion overview of the HSS program by the head of the Goods and Services Procurement Bureau, Ibu Sulfia Dwi Kurnaini. To Ibu Sulfia, we invite you to the front and you have the floor.
Very good morning, everyone. Okay, so Honorable Pak Sekjen, Pak Konjen, and everyone who are joining us in this very nice building, Pak, even though like it's very nice building, old but very nice, Pak. And also all the participants who are joining virtually, and we have almost 100 people who are still joining. And for us from Indonesia, actually this is midnight, almost midnight, because we have 12 hours time difference. So thanks again for joining us in this virtual vendor conference. And actually, as has been mentioned by Pak Sekjen, this is the 6th vendor conference. The 3 are done locally in Jakarta, and another 3 are done in international. So hopefully, all of you already joined the previous vendor conference, so I don't have to go slide by slide for the presentation one. But let me start with the very beginning slide. So can I just invite my colleague from the services, health services, Pak Andi? Can you joining me here? And also Pak Haryadi, do you want please joining here? Because I'm just call me Anna. My nickname is Anna. It's easier to call. And this is Pak Andi. He is the secretary from the Health Services Directorate, and Pak Haryadi is from the Public Health Services from the Ministry of Health. So can we just go back, not go back, for the very first slide of the presentation? Okay. Actually, all the material, all the slides are already put in our website. So you can just easily to pick up all the slides. And then once again, I just want to go very fast for all the slides because this is not really new about the presentation step. So can we go to the overview? Okay, so today I would like to present some substance on the overview. Of course, we will try to explain you about the project financing scheme, and then key objective of this event, and so on. So the latest one, I will show you the packaging planning for our project, SOPI, Siren, and Impulse. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, for the first financing scheme, can we go to the next slide? So this is already mentioned by our Secretary General that MOH, we are having collaboration with the MDBs. We got almost $4 billion to put in our health sector to push our lack of capacity. So this money is going to be as a source of the funding for 3 main projects. The first one is about Siren. Siren is the project to improve our capacity for the referral hospital. So the SOPI, the project that's going to be improve our capacity in the very low level of the health facilities. very low level, starting from village level. So it's very, very low one. And then impulse for the laboratorium. So if you can see from these three projects, it's going to be financed by its different MDBs. So it's kind of the co-financing. So it's going to be collaborate one to another. So I think this is the first time as well that all the MDBs coming together and then give us financing to push our health sector improvement. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the next one is about the key objective of this event. So many times I always say that this kind of vendor conference is a good opportunity for us, for MOH, or even for you as the supplier. So from our side, we need to get some feedback. Of course, we already gave you all the information, but now we need your feedback to make our bidding process, to make our procurement process getting more better. So something that we really need to do to make it more proper in the bidding or procurement process itself. So go to the next slide, please. So this is the one that we want to analyze by doing this market conference or vendor conference. And we want to get in touch with all of you, even like manufacturers, distributors, suppliers, or even principals, and in any level. So we will invite you to join in this process. So this is something that we need to talk with when we are having our transformation in the health sector. So of course, the most important thing when we talk about the funding most likely will go to the medical equipment demand for that. So here we got like as you see in the screen, those 5 priorities catastrophic disease that we have to combat, as well as we need to taking care our child and then mother care as well, and also for the primary and then the laboratorium. This below level on the data, it is the one, the all number from our health facilities that should be fulfilled by the all equipment. So when we talk about the hospital that is coming with the SIHREN project, we will fulfill more than 500 hospital with the equipment. More than 500 hospital along all island from Indonesia. And then when we talk about the public health facilities, as I said before, that coming from the very low level, we got more than 10,000 puskesmas. This is the facilities in the clinics, in the clinic level. And then when we talk the laboratory, I think more than 300. So you can imagine how many medical equipment that we really need to fulfill our demand, to make our health facilities getting better in the services. So this is something that our big dream in Indonesia, that we can put our health services in very excellent one. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is about the engagement that we have done before. And this is the link that you can check regularly about all the announcement or all the material. And even we put all the question and answer. So everything we put it in this link. So hopefully it will help you to understand what is really going on in the process. So you can also give us any feedback on this link. So this is the link that you can access anytime. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so, okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. Okay, this is the one when we did our first vendor conference, the second and the third one, we also shared the questionnaire to get feedback for the very from the very earlier step. So at that time, we get some feedback from all the response from the vendors, and then we put all the response as the feedback when we are doing the bidding document. So this kind of response is very good for us, for MOH. So we can, get along with all the need from the suppliers side. Okay, I will not explain one by one about the questionnaire, but some of the hot issue we can discuss it later, and I already put it in the slide as well. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? So the next one, we will talk about the government procurement rules. So this is something that are very interesting, and we call it as the hot issue because procurement is always hot issue in everywhere. So when we talk about the rule or regulation, can we go to the next slide? Yes, as we are using funding from the MDBs, from the international loan, so we are following regulation for the procurement based on their regulation. For example, when we are talking about SOPI and SIREN, some are Impulse as well, some of them are using funding from World Bank, AIIB, and ADB. And for this kind of 3 MDBs, we are following the bank regulation of procurement. And for the ISDB, we are using the ISDB guideline for the procurement. So it is a different regulation, but most likely it's quite the same when we are putting the transparency, equality as the principles. I mean, this is quite the same. Okay, can we go to the next slide? So the next one is about the procurement planning. Actually, we have issued our procurement planning in last November. And in this procurement planning, we provide all information about the list of equipment. And we already put it in a package. And then we also put a timeline at that time. But because we need to get very long process to prepare everything to make it more and more better. So it's a bit delay. But as Pak Sekjen already mentioned, Ibu Nauko, we have to start the bidding process after we come back from this international vendor conference. So this is the bidding schedule, the procurement methods. We already put it in the procurement planning. And once again, this document we already put in the website, in those links that I showed to you before. And it's also published in the MDB's website, so you can just check it by yourself. And I just want to remind you that this document, this procurement planning document, is living document. So we can just adjust it, we can just revise it as far as we find that there is something to be changed. So it's really following the updated condition. So we can just make it more sweet with the very recently condition in the process. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so we also will following the step of the bidding process. There was one, we will announce the specific procurement notice. This is very first step for us to start the bidding process. So hopefully it's coming by next week or next 2 weeks for the CAT lab, but sure, specific procurement notice is the one that we are waiting for to be issuance. So when we are doing the international competitive procurement, the SPN should be published not only in MOH website, but also in UNDP as well as in the MDB's website. So this is all the MDB's external website here. So once again, these links are very important because you need to check it regularly, all the announcement. Next slide, please. So for the international open competitive method, we are following the MDB standard document, or we always mention it as the bidding document. And once again, you can look at by yourself. Everything is put in the website. So if you want to look at what kind of the bidding document is there, everything is there. And as you know that we are holding not only international open competitive bidding, but also national open competitive bidding. So we also put the information on this one in our website. So we already put the model procurement documents if we are doing the national competitive document. Okay, can we go to the next slide? So for the methodology itself, when we do the international one, I think this is very common. When we talk about the procurement methodology, we have the request for bids, and then we also have the single states or two states. And for this procurement process that we are doing right now, most likely we will do two stages, two envelopes. The first envelope, we talk about the technical specification, and the second one, we talk about the financial or the price. So this is the two envelope. And when we are doing the procurement in the national methodology, we will use our Indonesian regulation as far as approved by the bank. So it may use our SPSA as the what you call it, as the machine, yeah. And then we also may use the e-catalog, but of course it's really depend on the medical equipment itself. So even international or national, everyone are freely to join. So when we talk international, doesn't mean the national cannot join. Vice versa, when we talk about national, doesn't mean the international vendors cannot join. So back to the eligible one, everyone can join, except that you are listed in the sanction list, or we call it as the blacklist. I think once again, this is common thing, not a special one, very common. Okay, can we go to the next slide? And this one, that eligible one, I already told you. Okay, it's clear and it's very common. Okay, go to the next slide, please. Okay, this is coming for very hot issue, something that actually we have discussed many, many times, and hopefully this is not something new for you, even like you who are attending in person or virtually. Actually, all the key evaluation and qualification are already starting to discuss in the second or third vendor conference. So should be familiar with this one. So one of our qualification criteria is about the financial capacity. As you know, the program involving a huge number of money, a huge number of value. That's why we also want that the supplier that join the bidding also have the capacity to fulfill the need to get the very high for value of the project itself. So when we talk about the criteria or qualification for the financial, we put the average annual turnover 2 times from our contract value. This is for the last 3 years on average for during the last 3 years, 2 times of the contract value. And then for the experience as itself, we also need to be more confident that you already have experience within the last 7 years. It means within those 5 years. Doesn't mean that you have to have those a whole 7 years experience. So within the 7 years, even you have experience for the last 3 years, for the second, or it's okay, but at least you have those kind of experience. And then in terms of the minimum quantity, we also put it like minimum quantity for each lot or each packet that should be met to join the bidding. And for the manufacturer, the experience are 4 years, because once again, the annual production capacity will show the capacity of the manufacturer itself. So this is something that will make us more confident to have a contract with you. Okay, can we go to the next slide? I think somehow this is not new topic. Hopefully all of you already aware with this topic. Okay, so about the provision of the evaluation, we will use the rated criteria to do the evaluation. And we also have this kind of the criteria explanation in this website. So we also have kind of the domestic preference, but it only apply when the product is already locally produced. So it's really specific on this local that locally produced. So we will apply the domestic preference itself. Okay, next slide, please. So this is for the margin of the domestic preference. This is, I think this question coming many times, and on this slide we try to put all the explanation, but basically when the product is locally produced in Indonesia, for example, we will do the evaluation for the imported goods. It's gonna be evaluated 15% higher than the CIP. But of course, we will have another criteria. So it's already explained on this slide. It's kind of example. So that's the basic rule. Okay, can we go? Yeah, this is the one that I told you before. Okay, can we go to the next slide? This is the description or explanation on the margin of domestic preference. So when we talk about cath lab, for example, MRI or CT scan, they are not locally produced yet in Indonesia. Of course, we will not apply this one. But for some small items that are locally produced in Indonesia, for example, when we talk the scale we already produced, or bed patient is locally produced, of course, we will apply this domestic preference. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? To the next one. Yes, this is the procurement key bidding about the provision. I talk you about the SPN and then once we issue the SPN, you will have 15 business days before the bid submission deadline. And this is something that we talk about very detailed one about the alternative bid. So when I will show you the packaging for the procurement planning. It's going to be consist of many lots. So this is very, very detailed one that you cannot bid in one lot, many bid in one lot, but you can bid on different lot. That's why we said that there is no alternative bid in one lot, but you can bid on other lot. So I can show you the example later on when we discuss about the procurement planning. And then we also have the something that gonna be help you for the bid security. We just demanding for the bid security declaration. So it will not give you any burden on that. But vice versa, if you are not committed in this bidding, there is going to be sanction of the penalty from the MDBs that you will be banned for the upcoming procurement that is financing by the MDBs. So this is something that please give us the commitment when you are doing the bids, the bidding. Even you don't have to provide any bid security, only bid security declaration. And the quantity variation, and actually we will procure a huge number of volume, and it's gonna be delivered in many states. For example, when we talk about Siren, it's gonna be delivered within 4 years. And as it also involve the criteria, or what you call it, like the facilities. So sometimes we have to make it more ready for the facilities itself. So if something happened with the facilities and it makes us have to postpone or even cancel the equipment. So we are hoping that in this contract, we have kind of the flexibility in the number in the number of volume. So we can decrease or increase the volume about 10%. Usually it will apply for very high tech one. The one that need kind of very specific requirement, usually the room, for example, or other facilities one. Yeah, electricity. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Yes, the key aspect of the project procurement. Okay, and this is something that also summarized from our vendor conference, from the last vendor conference about the key aspect on the procurement process. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, for the market sounding, we have done it many times. So this is something that I mentioned before about the timely completion, because we want to optimizing the packaging. That's why it should matching with the facilities readiness. So I will talk about the readiness later on. And for the timeline, hopefully we can start it in the last of January, started with the CAT lab bidding. And then as Indonesia as in the island, so everyone, every supplier should aware of this obligation that you need to deliver every equipment to the end user. So across Indonesian island. So this is something that are very challenging, but it's going to be put in our packaging in the equipment itself. So you have to consider about this one when you are calculating the cost. And also, when we talk about the winner, so every lot will have one winner. So one contract for one lot. I will talk about this one later when I show you about the procurement packaging. And based on the respondent at that time, as we mentioned that the price should be flat within the 5 years contract. So luckily, almost more than 70% I agree with that. So as I said before, that the equipment will be delivered within 4 or 5 years. So the price is flat. You cannot increasing the price. So I think this is no adjustment for the price for the whole contract. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? This is about the waiting. This is another hot issue. I don't know whether you are already aware of the or not, but I saw here the company, the representative of you are always coming in the vendor conference, and we have talked about this a lot. So as we have the 2 envelopes, the weight criteria, it's going to be 30% for the technical specification and 70% for the price of financial one. But this is an example only for the CAT lab. Once again, this is only for the CAT lab right now. This is the bidding document. We already set the bidding document in the website. Hopefully you already know the bidding document. And why we put only 30% on the technical specification on the CAT lab? Because the way we put the evaluation is going to be divided into mandatory one, and then the extra one, and then, okay, like the natural one. So I don't know, are you familiar with the technical specification yet? But if you look at in the technical specification document, there are 3 different colors. There are green one, the green color, the orange color, and the white color. The green one means this is mandatory to be met by suppliers. So the green one mentions all the minimum requirement for the CAT lab. If you fail to meet this requirement, it means that you failed. You will be taken out from the bidding. Another one, we will have the orange cell, the orange requirement for the technical specification. This is something that will be scored. If you have higher, if you have much more features, of course, they are going to have the higher score. And the white one is okay. We just put it as the neutral one. So that's why SCATLab is considered as advanced or mature technology. And all the mandatory is already put in the green cell. That's why the technical specification is weight 30%. And this is, once again, only apply for CATLab for this moment, not the whole thing. Okay, because as the first launching, we are planning to launch CATLab. Yeah, so that's why we are focusing on the CATLab right now. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? So this is the rated criteria, and then when you talk about the beyond mandatory one, so this is something that you can think about the equipment specification, the IT, AI, telemedicine. There's something that's going to be scored higher if you have the higher performance on that. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is the joint venture requirement. Once again, this is something that is very hot issue. So couple vendor conference, we are having more question on the joint venture. And here we have Pak Mike, the one. Maybe you need to explain the joint venture, but I hope everyone here is already familiar with this one, because once again, it's already discussed many times. So far, for the joint ventures, it's only allowed for the maximum 2, but based on the feedback from the supplier, it's going to be allowed to have more than 2. So the maximal is going to be 3. This really deep, based on the last feedback. And as we hope that the joint venture will be consist of very active member, so we put the minimum requirement for each partner, for the lead, they have at least 40% of the total AATO, and for the member at least 25%. So this balance is quite acceptable for from the vendors based on the questionnaire. And for the joint venture, it doesn't require to have a new entity. So the joint venture doesn't need a new entity to form. And then all the member of GV, as I said to you, that shall be jointly and severally liable for the execution on the entire contract. So everyone should have contribution on that. So we cannot have like a free rider for the member of the joint venture. Just give you the name and then everything will be done by another party. So we will not achieve that. We will not accept that kind of the joint venture. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Okay, the proposed procurement contracting mechanism. Once again, this is an example of the CATLab that we hope that we can launch it by the end of this month. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. About the delivery, I said about the staging delivery. So when we talk about SIREN, actually the program will run for 4 years and the delivery will be done 4 years. So year by year, it will be delivered based on the site readiness of the hospital. This is something that Pak Andi will explain later on. And there are 4 factors that should be met by the hospital before they accept the equipment. The first one about the facility of the equipment itself, the room, for example, and the human resources, infrastructure, utilities, for example, electricity, and of course the waste management for very harmful waste that usually come from the radiology equipment one. So this is something that should be met by the hospital before we deliver the equipment. So there is no warehousing in the hospital. So once we send it, One is gonna be installed, and one is gonna be testing and commissioning. So there is no warehousing in the hospital. Okay, Pak Andi will talk about this one more detail. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Yes, we have kind of the total cost of ownership approach. So you have to calculate everything here, including the upfront pricing, because even though like we have the multi-states, but one package should be include the transportation itself, the operational skill for the health workers, and we also will apply the linking payment for the functioning equipment. For the function, when you need to provide the good services, and of course, include the consumable goods. But from the last vendor conference, we also get some feedback from audience, from the vendors about the consumable goods. And then for the commitment to maintenance, as we will demand you to provide 5 years warranty, including operational and maintenance for the 5 years. So usually the warranty coming only for 1 or 2 years, and we will extend it the next 3 years. So in total 5 years. But the warranty also include operational and maintenance. So everything should come up with one package, including in the price. For the second 5 years, you are demanding to provide the cost, provide the information on the cost. So if you already look at the bidding document, there are some space that you need to provide the cost from the 6 to 10. But it will not include it in the price, because the price only consists of the 5 years, the first 5 years. But as we want to get like certainty in the price, certainty in the cost of the services, and as the life of this equipment hopefully more than 10 years, so we are hoping that you can provide us the information for the next second 5 years. So can we go to the next slide, please? This is about the payment term. Once again, when we talk the equipment, usually we can categorize it as the low technology one, or even for the high technology one. As the golden rule to explain the low technology one is the equipment that doesn't need operational and maintenance. So this is something that doesn't need operational and maintenance. Of course, they have their own warranty 1 or 2 years, or even we can put it we can put it 5 years warranty, but there is no operational and maintenance needed. So we call it as the low technology one. So for this kind of equipment, we will pay you fully once the equipment acceptance in the end user. So for the low equipment, it will be paid fully. At the time, we accept the equipment at the end user. So there is no term of payment of this one. And then for the larger one, for the more complex, for higher technology, so we will give you kind of term of payment. Usually the higher technology one is going to be in for 5 years operational and maintenance. So for example, cath lab, MRI, it's going to be the equipment that's going to be used this term of payment. So the payment can be done within 2 or 3 years. So once you got the contract, once you sign the contract, you will receive 10% advance payment, 10% of the value of contract. Once you sign the contract, you get paid for the advance payment, 10% of the value. As the delivery gonna be done year by year, so anytime you ship the equipment, just shipping the equipment, you will have another payment 25%. And then on the acceptance, once you get install and getting commissioning, you will have another 15%. And it's going to be done in the year you deliver, in the time you deliver the equipment. After that, you will have another term of payment. You know, like you just paid about 50%. So you still have another 50% to be paid. So the payment will be done every 6 months. So every 6 months, you're going to be paid about 12.5%. But it's going to be linked with your performance in services. So every 6 months, 12.5%, but the payment will be linked with the services performance. So once you provide us a services as a good as is written in the contract, so you will get fully 12.5%. But once you didn't show the good performance for the services, so you're going to be got penalty and deducted from the 12.5%. This is something that we want to make it more confident for our side from the MOH that you will provide the better and the good services. And then the payment will be fully paid within 2 years after the commissioning. This is apply only for the high-tech one. I have to mention once again, many times that this is term of payment only apply for the high-tech one. For the low-tech one, you're going to be paid fully once it's accepted by end user. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? This is something that, of course, when we are doing the health sector, we also considering the economic of scale. The larger, of course, you will have more advantage for that. Can we go to the next slide, please? I think we will talk about the key aspect on the contract term. Can we go to the next slide? This is the one that going to be linked with the term of payment. As you will have 10% of the advance payment, mutually, you have to provide 10% of performance security. This is to keep you delivering the equipment as scheduled by MOH. So this is the 10% performance security will be deducted yearly equal to value that you are delivered every year in equal value. So for example, we have 10 million value in contract. So the first year from the first year, you have to provide 10% from the 10 million. But when you deliver about 2 million in the first year, so for the second year, the performance security only 10% from 8 million. So it's going to be deducted equally with the value that you can deliver for each year. So on the fourth year, everything is gone for the performance security. Because on the fourth year, all the equipment are delivered all. So we will not keep the money. But as I said to you that for the SIREN, for example, that the project only run for 2024 up to 2029, the last delivery will be done in 2027. The payment, the final payment will be paid on the 2029. See, 2027 and 2 years will be paid fully, 2029. But the project will be finished in 2029. But we still have another 3 years to be provided from you. That's why at the end of the final payment, we need you to provide 5% warranty for the last 3 years for the rest of the value from the contract. Okay, can we go to the next slide? And of course, to make it more confidence for both of us, we will apply the liquidity damage, and then it's gonna be any penalty for 1 per meal per day if you delay in the delivery. And then it's gonna be capped in the maximum 10%. On the other hand, if MOH delay the payment, we also will pay you the interest rate. So it's mutually, we will do that. And I said before that the payment gonna be linked with the performance monitoring in the O&M phase. So that's gonna be another penalty if you delay the services, if you delay the maintenance. So this is something that we want you to give us perfect services to be provided. And this is will be increased up to 0.3% of equivalent value per day. So the maximum will be capped at 25% of the total contract value. Okay, can we go to the next slide? The technical assistance so far, of course, we having the technical assistance from the MDBs, and we are, can we go to the next slide? And we are also supervised by our internal auditor, that is the State Development Audit Agency, and it will make our process more accountable. So it's going to be supervised by the auditor as well. As well will be supervised by external probability assurance from the MDBs, which is from EY. I think that's all that I can share so far. Maybe later on, Pak Andi will, can we go to the next slide? Will explain you about the list of the equipment. I think timeline we can just do it later after we finish all the one. And Pak Andi, please have some comment on this one, but we will keep the readiness criteria after we talk about this one. Okay, please, Pak Andi.
Thank you, Bu Ana. Yeah. Firstly, allow me to express my sincere appreciation, for the opportunity to have a meeting for all of you today. Short explanation, following explanation from Bu Ana. Yeah. Before I will describe about the list of our medical equipment from the SIHRAN project. That I will explain about why we choose the list of the equipment. Yeah, we can go to the slide number 29. Yeah. Can we move? Okay. Slide number 29, please. Yeah. I'm Andi, Secretary of Directorate General of Health Services, Ministry of Health. That it is related with the projects of SIHRAN. Yeah. As Bu Ana mentioned that our duties, from Health Services, DG, that related with the SIHRAN, it means that related with the referral hospital, So all of the list of medical equipment will go to the hospital as a stage of the level of the referral, on the whole of health system in Indonesia. Sorry. Before the slide number 40, can we move to the slide number 29? 29. Sudah? Ya.
Site readiness.
Site readiness.
Site readiness.
Ini 40. So yeah. We are waiting the slide 29, but okay. I will describe about how we choose the list of the medical equipment on our health system. As Bu Ana mentioned that we, Indonesian health system, Indonesian health system try to have a transformation, in health system, in referral system, in hospital. So, our list based on our Bu Ana mentioned our needs, yeah, based on the data, the analysis regarding the mortality, yeah, mortality, natality, and also Bu Ana, we say that about the mortality, natality, and also the catastrophic effect from the our system. So if we talking about the catastrophe, yeah, it is related with the how we reduce the burden of the expensive of our money from the health system. So that we have the top list, yeah, top 5 list of our priority of the disease, yeah. I call that 4+1 because the top 4, yeah, related with the cancer, heart or cardiac, uronephrology, and stroke, and +1 related with the mother and child health, because as you know that the prevalence of the natality and mortality of the mother and child is still high in Indonesia. So we have to overcome the problem, yeah, 4+1 for the 5 top list of the disease Indonesia in our system is those are the burden, yeah, for the health system. The list of the medical equipment, yeah, it means, yeah, it means how we carry out, how we overcome the 5 lists of the burden, yeah, related the cancer, cardiac, uronephrology, stroke, and mother and child health. So the list, yeah, the list. Can we move to the slide number 40, please? Yeah. Annex. 40. The list. Yeah. After that, I will explain about how we put address about the 4 criteria for to provide the medical equipment. Yeah. Next. Yeah. Those are the list of medical equipment related for the 5 top list of our diseases. Yeah. Yeah. You can see. For example, cath lab, single plan and biplane. This is related with the disease for the cardiac or heart diseases. Yeah, we put single plan and biplane. This is related with the stage of the leveling of our hospital in our system. Yeah. We divide now, until now, we divide 4 levels for the stage of level of referral. Yeah, class A, B, C, D, and it is related with the class A is the top. Yeah, it means the ultimate referral system of the referral system. Yeah, so we put the biplane cath lab for the class A or ultimate hospital of the level of hospital, something like that. And related with the 3D ablation system as well for the box, yeah, the row on the right. Yeah, you can see that 3D ablation system, it is related with the heart as well. Yeah, and yeah, for the bottom of the side, the left side MRI, yeah, 1.5 Tesla, yeah, related with the with the disease of cancer. Yeah. Can we move to the next slide? High-speed real power system, uronephrology. Yeah. Neonatal neurosurgery microscope. Yeah. Related with the neurosurgery as well. Neonatal electroencephalography. Yeah. EEG, NICU, related with the mother and child. Yeah. Health. Yeah. And yeah, around 90s medical equipment, yeah, come from the project of Sihran. Yeah, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, 3D ultrasound, yeah, object related with the MNCH, yeah, echocardiography, and up to ultrasonic cardiac output monitor. Yeah. Next, please. And this is the last slide for the Sihran project. Yeah. CT scan. Yeah. 128 slides. CT scan minimal 64 slides. Brachytherapy is related with the nuclear medicine, yeah, for the cancer therapy. CT simulator, cyclotron, cytotoxic drug safety cabinet, immunohistochemia set, LINAC, yeah, radiotherapy, external radiotherapy, mammography, PET scan, SPECT. The last two, PET scan, PET CT scan, and SPECT related with the cancer therapy. Okay, we have around 90s, the medical equipment related with the Sihran project. Can we move to the slide 29, please? Yeah, I will describe about the highlight from Bu Ana, yeah, regarding 4 criteria. Yeah, this slide, 4 criteria. Actually, we capture from a project appraisal document. Yeah. It means that once we set up, once we decide that all of the site of or locus for the hospitals, yeah, for example, yeah, cath lab, yeah, we have to consider, yeah, that the users, the hospital, yeah, already set up, yeah, already we have to make sure that hospitals, yeah, has 4 criteria, yeah, to receive the medical equipment. Yeah, for criteria number 1, prior availability of the equipment in the facility. It means that for the criteria, we already have a mapping. Yeah, mapping for the criteria, yeah, for receiving the medical equipment. Criteria number 1, for example, related with the prior medical equipment. Yeah, it means that there is no overlap. Yeah, for putting, setting, yeah, sending the medical equipment for a particular hospital. Yeah, so yeah, optimize the project, yeah, is the better, yeah, for the how we make sure that our system running with the best planning and monitoring as well. For criteria number 2, human resource capacity, it means that how the medical equipment will be carrying out, conducting with the optimum resources, because all of the medical equipment that will be provided, not only how we provide sending the medical equipment, but also how we provide the outcome of the system that citizens receive the best quality of the health services. For example, how many citizens, how many people will receive once we sending the cath lab, how many patient with the stand, ring, something like that. Criteria number 3, infrastructure and utility access. It means that we have to provide the hospital, the site, the locus of the hospital with the infrastructure. It means, for example, for making catheterization of the cath lab, we need, hospital needs the room for the operating, for setting up the process of the stat, of the heart, and utilization access related with the as from the Directorate General of Health Services and the hospital for the users, have to be utilization, matters related the electricity power, something like that, and also many things related with the utility. And adherence to local and national regulation on medical waste. This is a particular aspect. We have to consider. It means that output from the process. For example, waste, how we manage waste. From the nuclear medicine, from the radiography. We have to conduct, together with the local government. So all of the 4 criteria, is 4 aspects, that very important to consider to make sure that all of the system, including how we how we deliver the medical equipment, will be the best, for the outcome for the citizen. I think the last but not least, I have to say that for all of the system, as mentioned, that we provide the system. We provide the system, those are, which are the medical equipment, with the criteria, 4 criteria, and also we provide human resources, with the best, how we improve the capacity building, but also the system for fostering steward for the system. It means that not only provide the medical equipment solely, but also how we fostering with the mechanism to deliver the process of the carrying out the medical equipment for the best outcome, which are include the capacity building, fostering, stewardship, monitoring, evaluation, and related matters. Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Pak Andi. So that's about the equipment list. So now we want to inform you the equipment list from the SOPI and Impulse. So Pak Haryadi, please, can you just brief talk about the equipment list?
Thank you, Bu. Hello, everybody. My name is Haryadi from Public Health Management Directorate and Ministry of Health. I will talk about the two projects. It's one SOPI and the second is Impulse. SOPI is a strengthening primary health care in Indonesia project. This is a little specialistic, a little difficult compared to the SIREN, not about the high tech, because SOPI in primary healthcare level is in sub district, and auxiliary primary healthcare in the village, and the post in the in the integrated post in the health center. It's a very rural area, some area in Indonesia. In primary healthcare, we have around 10,000 more than 10,000, and for auxiliary primary health center, we have more than 81,000, and around 300,000 more for integrated. So it's challenging because a big number, and some area is difficult to reach about the transportation. The second, for the list equipment, we referral in a ministry regulation. It's 43 in 2019. It's around more than 200 equipment. So when we make group to the equipment, it's around 169 equipment. It's a huge variation of equipment in the SOPI project. Because the regulation already issued in 2019, and with some input from expert, we input the new equipment, and the previous already listed, but it's still old technology, like equipment for eyeball pressure tonometer. Previously, we use tonometer shots, and then we use tonometer non-contact. So we change some equipment still in discussions. So that's why SOPI not yet listed. Maybe we hope next month that some equipment still we use on the ministry regulation for 43. For SOPI, include laboratory in tier 1, because in Impulse project, we divided to 5 level laboratory, public laboratory. Laboratory tier 1 is put in the SOPI, and laboratory tier 2 is a district, tier 3 is a regional, tier 3 is a province, and the 4 level is for regional, and level 5 is for national referral. SOPI and Impulse, we still finishing the detail about the specification, because we need more input from the expert. We hope maybe next month the list for equipment already put in the website, but the detail for the specification we still discuss in internal. That's just for SOPI and Impulse.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to continue the explanation about the list equipment here. So we can see from the list, this is from the SOPI list. Actually, it's going to be distributed to very low level, as we have mentioned before, the puskesmas level, or even in the level of village. We call it as the posyandu or pustu. So this is something that you should consider. Once again, when you calculate the price, when you calculate the cost, should be included that cost, because we need to deliver all the equipment up to end user. So this is something that very important to be concerned. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? These lists are I think more than 200 for SOPI and Impulse. So I will not explain one by one, but you can just look at by yourself. So most likely this gonna be categorized as the low technology one. But of course, when we talk about the Impulse, something that is related with the laboratorium, we need some equipment company with 5 years O&M. So the term of payment is going to be the same as Cath Lab, most likely. But for the low technology, it's going to be fully paid. And when we talk about the methodology, it's going to be different one to another. So can we go to the next session for the procurement planning packaging? This is something that once again, it's very interesting for all the suppliers, all the vendors, because this is the planning, how we will do the procurement. How can we packaging the procurement itself? So from all the list that already mentioned between Pak Andi and Pak Haryadi before, it's going to be packaged in one of its package. Can we go to the next slide, please? So for example, here, this is the packaging for the Sihren. I just want to remind you that this packaging planning, the procurement packaging planning, that is something that's for upcoming 18 months. So these are the packaging. So for example, I mentioned about the lot before. So for example, for the Cath Lab, here, we will procure more than 400 Cath Labs. But as the number is very huge, we want to divide it into 3 Cath Labs for the single plan. And it's going to be based on the geography, the eastern, the mid of Indonesia, and the western. So we just want to make you more focused on those areas. That's why we put it in the different lot. But the specification is going to be the same, because this is the single plan. See that it's going to be divided into 3 lots for the single plan and 1 lot for the B plan. So as I mentioned before, that there is no alternative bids for each lot. So for example, you for the lot 1, you cannot bid twice for each of provider or suppliers, but you allow to bid on every lot 1, lot 2, or lot 3, or even lot 4. But regarding the requirement, you have to cumulative all the requirement if you want to bid for all lots. For example, for the first lot, the minimum quantity is about 55. The second one about the 50 or something like that. And the next one about the 25. So the total for lot 1 and 3, lot 1, lot 2, and 3, you have to minimum require at least 130 something. So it's going to be cumulative requirement. So it's really depend on you. So once again, it will connect to the joint venture, Pak Mike, because once you cannot meet the requirement by yourself, you can just freely join with the another one and make it a joint venture. So all this packaging started from Sihren. Can you go next slide? I just go slide by slide. This is also still Sihren. So for example, on the packaging number 7, we talk about the invasive cardiology equipment and 101 units, but we will not divide it based on the area, but we will divide the lot based on the grouping of the equipment. So This is the most challenging one because it's going to be delivered to all hospital, but still one by one, lot by lot. It's really based on the medical equipment itself. Okay, for the NICU and so on, you can just check by yourself because there's gonna be many. I cannot explain one by one. But once again, we already put this in our website. Hopefully, because here I saw the same company, but maybe different people. But hopefully you have already communicate one each other in your own company. So this is not something new. Okay, can we go to the Shopee, for example? Sorry, for the Sihren, I think we have about 37. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, this is for the Shopee. So see the number of equipment for its packaging. For the number one, the procurement of resuscitator, 26,000. It's very huge. That's why we will divide it into type of the resuscitator: adult, infant, and neonatal. That's make it you more easy to grouping, to make it bidding in lot by lot. So, okay, I forgot to mention about the market approach here. If it quite the same with the Sihren, we will identify which one is gonna be international open competitive, which one are national one. So usually we put international because the product is high tech. For the local one, not the local one. For the national one, it's gonna be like more lower, but sometimes it's because of the volume is not really high. But some consideration are made not only based on volume value, but all combined. So here, for example, we for the laboratory general equipment, the number 35,000 unit. So this is, I don't know, is it the small or the big one? But in terms of volume, it's a huge one. And then all the packaging of Shopee is going to be divided lot by lot based on the type of the equipment, not of the area. Can we go to the next slide? So most likely for the Sihren, we will do it internationally, but for Shopee, we will do it international and national one. Once again, everyone are freely to join in the bidding. Okay, then the next slide, please. Can we go to the Impulse? So for the Impulse, quite the same with the Shopee, we will divide it the lot based on the grouping of the equipment, not based on area. Because for one type of equipment, usually they have different type, maybe for adult, child, or some like very, very specific one. But we put it in a big group, in one similar group. And about the volume, this is still big enough. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is all the procurement planning packaging that we already shared to you. Once again, this is very important for all of you, all the suppliers. So you can start to planning what kind of the equipment that you can provide for us. So for Sihren, I think we will go a bit earlier. I mean, we can start it the bidding process by the end of this month, and afterward we will put in the website the technical specification of its equipment from Sihren. So regularly, once we got the finalized the specification, we just will put it in the website. And still, we need the feedback from you. Right now, we just disclose the technical specification for the CAT lab and MRI. And upcoming will be the high speed power drill. And then I think more equipment are coming for the Sihren. So please, maybe during the mid of February, yeah. Yes. Yes. And then technical specifications are coming soon for the Sihren. For the SOPI and Impulse, as the variation of medical equipment is very wide, and we need to finalize the all specifications. So hopefully we can just drop the specification. The latest is on the late of February, or maybe the late February, we can just disclose all the specification. So this is when we talk about the technical specification, one again, please look at more detail, because in every medical equipment is going to be different for the bidding document. So not qualification of requirement fit for all, but it's going to be different one to another. So I think this is all the explanation about the procurement packaging. Maybe I will just update you from our last vendor conference, some specific question related for the rated criteria, because as we know that all the hospitals should meet the 4 criteria. So basically, once you got signing the contract, you will be provided the more detailed data about which hospital are ready, which hospital are not. So once again, have you seen the bidding document for the cath lab, for example? In those bidding documents, we already mentioned about the schedule. For example, in 2024, we will deliver this many of cath lab. And the second year, and the third year, and the fourth year. But there is some possibility that delivery could be postponed or delayed based on the readiness of the hospital. So this is something that last time, Pak Mike, Bu Nauko, and everyone.
This is question
from our
previous,
from the previous vendor conference. So how can you manage those all information?
Okay.
So Pak Andi, can you give some explanation on that?
Yeah. As I mentioned, all of the hospital, we already have a map. Yeah. We already have a map related with the criteria, the 4 criteria. So please, I think that Bu Ana, please don't hesitate. Yeah, don't be hesitant. Yeah, about this criteria, because we already have the map. Yeah, yeah. For example, around 72. Yeah, as a norm. Yeah, 72 from 401. Yeah, cath lab will be provided until 2027. Yeah. So for the year, the first year, 2024, the around 62 medical equipment of the cath lab. Yeah, it means that we have around 30, for example, Bu, the around 30. I think that around 30, we already have the clear mapping of the 4 criteria. It means for the shipping or the referring, the first step will be delivered to the first 30 hospital. So in this year 2024, for the rest, around 32, we try to handle to overcome the issue. Yeah, we will overcome. We will put all of the criteria. For example, how many medical doctors, neurologists will be distributed to fulfill for the criteria. Yeah, because the human resources related with the criteria number 2. Yeah, I think so, Bu Ana. So don't hesitate. Yeah, regarding the issue for the criteria, for the 4 criteria. So we can hand on hand, to make sure, how we provide well the hospital to receive the medical equipment for the 62 cath lab.
Okay, I just want to show you kind of the example for this one. Okay, can I have a question? Have you seen the bidding document? Not yet. Why? Because we already put it in our website. So I hope Mike Munauko, because actually this is not something new. We already shared it before. And I don't know, within one company, the same brand, I hope you have communicated each other. So let I show you the bidding document. Can I just share the screen? Can you give us the, okay. So I cannot share the screen. Okay, please. So I just want to show you, actually, you can just go to the link and just grab by yourself the bidding document. I already shared it, but for now, I just want to show you as the example, just want to make it clear to understand. Okay, can I just share the screen? Okay, yes. Okay. This one. So this is actually the bidding document that we have shared to you. This one. I'm not yet. What? Saya yang share ini. Is it?
Oh, Ibu yang
Ini I share it. Ini saya yang share. Okay. This is the bidding document that we have shared couple, I think 2 months ago. So unfortunately, you haven't seen yet, but this is actually, it's already open and for the final draft. Hopefully after this vendor conference, we can start it now. So when we talk about the load, we already mentioned in our bidding document. Let's see. We already mentioned it in here.
Is it still related with the question?
Yes, the cath lab one. So because the one who are ready is the cath lab. So I have found this one. The supply requirement, this one. So here, okay. So this is something related with the detailed information in the schedule of requirements. So this one. So for example, for the lot one, we are have 149 for lot one for cath lab single plane.
For what? 401.
49. Yes, the earliest delivery hopefully can be done in October 2024, and the latest one in the March 2027. So all this information are put in the bidding document. And even for the list of each hospital, we also put it in the bidding document. So this is the one answer the question. How can you have the green light to start to send or to deliver the equipment? So based on this schedule, actually, we already put the hospital that has the 4 criteria met in 2024 that can be shipped, the equipment can be shipped in 2024. So for each of the live or hospital, we put it in the bidding document. So everything is very clear here. So which hospital will get equipment on 2024, 25, or even 27. So the sooner we schedule it, the delivery, it means the site readiness is there.
Already there.
Already there.
Yeah.
So, but still, before you ship the equipment, you have to double check with the MOH.
Yeah.
But all the information, we already put it in the bidding document.
Yeah.
So everything is here.
Just to double check, Bu, yeah. And also the team for we call the like PPK, yeah, will be double check as well with the the vendor. Yeah.
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 Isn't it, Bu?
Yeah, okay. So this is the last question about the question from our last vendor conference, because some vendors are, how can we get the green light to deliver the equipment? So this is the one that you can hold on for the first step. But after that, of course, when implementing the contract, you need to have a more discussion with the MOS before we really deliver this equipment.
Deliver the equipment.
Yes, hopefully, please grab the bidding document and read it, because this is not the first time. So that should be okay for all of you. So, Pak Mike, I think we have also many questions about the joint venture. So, would you please to give some explanation on the joint venture in very brief one, Pak? Because everyone just getting like mixed up whether they need to establish new entity or not. So, Pak Mike, can you just help me to describe the joint venture?
So, the bidding documents.
Yeah, I will take it.
The bidding documents describe the requirements for a successful bid. So there are eligibility requirements relating to experience and financial capacity, and those can be either met by an individual bidder or through a joint venture participating. So a joint venture can comprise of, as Anna mentioned, up to 3 members, and the eligibility requirements in the bid documents describe that the main partner needs to meet 40% of the requirements, and the junior partner needs to meet 25% of the requirements. So at the time of bid, it's required that there be at least a letter of intention to form a joint venture. The joint venture itself need not be in place yet, but each of the joint venture members must be listed. There is a form in the bid document for each of the names of the joint venture partners to be listed. Are there any questions in relation to that?
There was many questions how to perform the joint venture. Okay, otherwise, I just want to inform you about the tax part. Okay, maybe later on we will have another question. So there are also many questions about the tax exemption. Actually, based on the government decree, we also have kind of the tax paid by the government. So all the equipment will be free from the tax and custom. And we will have another session to discuss more detail on this one, on the tax exemption. So all the price that you offer to us should be not included the taxation, because it's going to be regulated by ours, and it's going to be taxed by the government as well. So I think that's all. Is there any question we can just discuss? So maybe I will invite some question from participant from in person, and then after that we go with the virtual question. So please, Juan, yes. Yeah.
Clearance too, so it will be duty free and customs clearance will be included.
Yes, it's gonna be duty free, and then as well for the VAT as well. So it's going to be free for all the tax exemption. But we will talk about that one later on, because we will invite our colleague from the Ministry of Finance who are really dealing with those kind of exemption. So they will give you more explanation on that. How can we do the mechanism to get the tax exemption, or actually not really tax exemption, tax paid by the government, but all price are tax-free and duty-free.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Is there any question from here, please?
Sure, couple of questions. First one, can you speak to the timeline? When are we expected to see the I mean, when we'll have to bid? And then as vendors who have expressed interest, will we be notified directly, or do we
No.
go on UNDB to get notification of the tendering? And then the second question, if you can speak on, I mean, obviously very clear on the equipment, medical equipment, and the training and the maintenance and equipment piece. Can you speak about so not the infrastructure, but the after? How are you going to operate those cath labs? Because as Medtronic, obviously we can support on the medical equipment, but also on the operating of the cath labs once you have the medical equipment. So training and education of all of the doctors, but also operating and having cost efficiency for your cath lab. So if you can speak on the long term after everything is equipped and where we can come in and support.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Can we go to the slide that talk about the timeline? Okay. Because, okay. So actually, this is the timeline for cath lab. Once again, we will start with the cath lab. So, yeah, can you share in the share screen? So actually, for the cath lab, we are planning to launch the SPN at the end of this month. So hopefully by next week, we can launch the cath lab. So this is the timeline for us. So for example, once we issue the SPN, you will have another 30 business day to read it, to learn, and even like maybe you can just make some notes on that. Okay, so 30 days business days mean about 40 days calendars. So I think that's hopefully good enough to you to look at more detail on this bidding document. So, and that we will have another bidding submission. And of course, once you submit and then we close the bidding submission, we will have another step to do the evaluation. The evaluation gonna be consist of 2 steps for the cath lab, the technical one, as well as the financial or the price evaluation. So far, we put it 98 calendar days to do the evaluation, but this can be shorter. This can be shorter. For each evaluation, we need to gain some approval or no objection letter from the bank. And even in our mechanism internally from MOH, we also get some review from our Inspectorate of General. So there is something that make the procurement process is well is done in a proper way. We still put it 98 days, but maybe we can want to make it shorter. And then after that, we will notify the winner, or we can just notify the contract award after all the evaluation. Here, you see the 28 calendar days before you signing the contract. In this period, of course, we still have some time, as you know, I don't know whether you are familiar with the registered number identification, NEA, in our regulation, something that you should apply once you get contract or before signing the contract. This is kind of the registered distribution number, specific one from Indonesia, a local national. And then after that, you still have another 6 months to prepare equipment, while in our side, in MOH side, we want to prepare the hospital to meet those 4 criteria settled down in those hospital before you deliver the equipment. So this is the contract completion will be finished on in 5 years. So here, this is the timeline. But as I mentioned before, that for the 98 days, it's hopefully can be shorter. So if we start we announce it in 31st or 31 of January, hopefully we can do the bidding submission opening in 15th of March. And then June is very pessimist one, but hopefully we can finish it in May. So hopefully the latest one, we can signing the contract on June. But we will give you this timeline once we issue the SPN for Cath Lab. And after this, we will go with another equipment, but more or less, it's going to be this step. And I think the one that I said you before, the final payment is going to be in 2029, because the last delivery for Cath Lab is 2027. Yeah, so starting in June 2029, so you have to provide another 5% for the warranty security. So I think that's for the timeline. And I think for the second question, Pak Andi, can you give any response for that?
Yeah, for the question number 2, yeah, related with the when the medical equipment will be operating. Yeah, as we know, the vendors have to provide the list of the activities from the installation, not just to deliver the medical equipment to the hospital, but also installation, functional testing, training, maintenance services, and guaranteed of the medical equipment. But your question related to when will be the medical equipment operating. So we have to say, Bu Ana, you can aid my explanation, but for your question, when will be operating, we have to say that not only to deliver, not only installation, not only functional testing, but also training in 2024. For example, Cath Lab, will be delivering around 72 from the June or May 2024, just not to deliver the 72 medical equipment of the Cath Lab, but also up to the training. Training, it means that training how to operate the Cath Lab. So we are very waiting the outcome of the Cath Lab for our citizen in Indonesia. So, but how about the continuous training? It is very different with the training for the single year 2024 for operating the medical equipment of the Cath Lab. But continuous training will be delivered for the next year, something like that. But to operating the medical equipment Cath Lab, must be trained in the single year 2024. You got the point? I think so.
Okay.
Because we are very waiting the outcome of the Cath Lab. How many patients will be treated with by the Cath Lab? We have to account the number of the patient. So as I mentioned, the outcome of the providing the medical equipment, the Cath Lab, for example, we are very waiting for the outcome. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just a bit surprised when I asked you that you haven't seen the bidding document, because what we are talking about is all about the bidding document and even for the technical specification. So based on our previous vendor conference, for example, we got so many feedback from all the company. Even we already talk in very detailed way. So when we talk the technical specification for the CAT lab, for example, they already give us any feedback. So we are dealing with that. So I don't know, because is it like, okay, you haven't seen the, so yeah. Yeah, sure. So yeah, that's why I'm just, I'm a bit surprised because of that, because what I'm saying is all about the bidding document. So as for example, when I mentioned about the weight between technical specification 30% and then 70%, what we are hoping the feedback from all of you is not only mentioned about, oh, should be 50%, 50%, or should be 40, 60. No, but maybe when you look at more detail on the specification, which are on the orange area, just give us any feedback. If you mention the technical specification should be increased more than 30%, so which part of those orange area should be valuable more? Should be valued more? So this is something feedback that we want to get from you. So still, even if you haven't seen the very detailed one, but I believe I got many feedback from the AL company. So once we will issue the SPN, we were thinking about that one. I am not saying that all the feedback will be adopted, but I am not saying too that it's rejected. So let us digest all the feedback from the previous vendor conference, who give us some comment for some very detailed specification. Yes, that's something. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that's for the
Yeah.
bidding document. And
Can I add? Yeah, because Bu Anna mentioned that, please, open the website and please clearly understood regarding the very technical specification. For example, for the CAT lab, we will provide two types of the CAT lab, single plane and a biplane. And also not only related with the regarding two kinds of the CAT lab, but also many technical matters. For example, detector for the CAT lab, because we are using the CAT lab not only for the heart, not on the cardiac, but also together with the stroke treatment. We are using the CAT lab for the togetherness with the heart, cardiac, and also the stroke treatment. So the component of the detector is very important one. I have to say that we choose for the togetherness, cardiac, and also the brain, the stroke, with the detector. The size of detector is 30 centimeters. So please, it means that the item like the detectors, 30 centimeters for togetherness. It is the very green area for the technical specification, as Bu Anna mentioned.
Okay, thank you, Pak. I saw from the virtual there are 3 people who are raising hand for the question. So can you please from Philip, GE and Traeger Singapore. I saw you many times from the virtually. Okay. Hopefully you will not raise the same question as before. Okay. So so please, maybe from Philip, because I saw you your video on for the first time. Ton from the Philip, please.
Yes. So can you hear me?
Not really clear. I cannot hear the voice very clear. Can you, yeah, the volume is very small. Can you try again, please?
Can you hear me now? A little bit better?
A bit better. Maybe the problem is here. Okay, can you just try again?
Hello?
Yes, good. Please. Yes.
Good.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you for having us here in this meeting and raising the opportunity to raise the questions. So our main question as well is where can we raise those technical questions? For example, if we have additional specifications that we would like to discuss or raise these kind of questions. So where can we put them?
Yes. Thank you. Did you see the link that I provided in the slide? So can you just click on it and then you can just email and put some feedback on that.
Okay. And also documents we can also then load up there.
Sure. Okay. My team from Jakarta, can you help me to show all the, but I think once you click the link, everything is there.
Okay.
Even like for the contact person, if you got some question by WA, you also can send, but only for the hotline, not by private. We will not accept communication by private. So please go to the link. Is that answer your question? And then as we are planning to launch the CAT lab as soon as possible, so if you have some feedback, please provide the feedback soon as possible as well.
Actually,
thank you.
From Bu Ana presentation, the address for the link.
Yeah, we already put
on slide number 18.
Pak pakai mic. Maaf tangan kiri. Yeah. Okay, Pak.
Slide number 18.
Okay. Can we go to the GE Healthcare, please?
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Look, I understand that there might be shortly a workshop with the Ministry of Finance, but my question is a kind of follow-up to the vendor conference in Paris. I think we've all acknowledged that we are facing many tax issues, that the project from a tax perspective is somewhat challenging, particularly for offshore bidders, which are facing potential permanent establishment, double taxation. I don't want to be too technical, right? But long story short, except if we get a full exemption on both direct and indirect taxes from the MOF, we've got a question and see whether you would consider for international group manufacturing goods outside of Indonesia to have the Indonesian affiliate of this group as individual bidder. In all likelihood, this individual bidder would not meet the eligibility criteria, both the financial capacity and the specific experience, but all its obligations would be covered by a performance guarantee, with the guarantor, of course, being part of the same group and meeting all the eligibility criteria. So one single bidder, local, not meeting the criteria, but all its obligations covered by a performance guarantee from a company of this group, which would meet the eligibility criteria. I guess the question is also to a certain extent to the World Bank as well.
Okay, Pak Mike, do you want to answer? Yeah, actually for the text bar, as I said to you before, we will have another specific event because I cannot explain very detailed. So please waiting for that one. Mike, please.
Okay, well, thank you for such a detailed question.
Important topic for us.
Okay, so let me put it into two parts. The first is the tax obligation, and that's really not my department. So I'm going to leave that to the ministry to sort out. The second part relates to whether or not the joint venture or the joint venture or the junior, or the bidder that doesn't meet the qualification requirements can in effect rely on a parent company guarantee, something like that, to meet Okay, so if we have a bidder, they must meet the eligibility requirements, the financial average annual turnover requirement and the experiential requirements. The bank used to accept parent company guarantees in the past, and they no longer do so. So subsidiaries, for example, that do not meet financial or qualification requirements cannot rely on their parent companies to meet those through the form of a parent company guarantee. Those were found to be unenforceable and therefore have been discontinued by the World Bank. So we're left with having to try and sort out a tax situation on one hand to deal with the situation where a junior or a national firm that doesn't meet financial qualification requirements wishes to participate. And so the obvious vehicle to do that is through a joint venture. And then you'd have to sort out the tax issues. Yeah. And in that case, both the joint venture partners would need to respectively meet the eligibility requirements for the lot they were bidding. And if there was a subsequent lot, they would need to meet those requirements cumulatively.
Yeah. Okay. I saw
Clear.
Pak Somit.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Pak Somit, do you want to add some explanation on that? I saw you raise hand.
Yes, Bu Ana, thank you very much. So I think just to add, Mike already responded, and we have also written in the bid documents that the guarantees are not applicable. So to be able to count on the capacity of a partner, the partner has to be jointly and severally liable. So that's why the option is of a joint venture, but it has been considerably simplified in the sense that you do not need to register it as a separate entity. You do not need the parent to be registered in Indonesia. You do not need either partner to be registered in Indonesia, but because you have a subsidiary, you can use that. How you work out internally is something that it's a choice that you have on how you make the most tax efficient administration between you and your entity. We are not the experts to guide on that, but on the tax exemption specifically for the equipment, Bu Ana is best placed to consult with MOF and respond. But just for a consistent answer and to be clear, this is the position. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can we just move to another one? Because I saw still from Singapore, Kenneth. Let me finish all the virtual one, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So I think that my question is similar still on the joint venture topic, a follow-up from the, I think, Paris conference as well. We went through, some of the answer from the site. I think we just want to clarify a few points. Yeah. I think first it was mentioned that, in a joint venture, we can set the representative to do all the business transaction. At the same time, of course, there's this term throwing out of lead partners, junior partners. We just want to confirm this representative of the joint venture, they do not need to be the lead partner. Is this understanding correct? Yeah. And second, I think is more a bit of feedback. Hearing that, of course, the authority also want to invite as many company to join this bid as possible. Is there still a possibility, would you be considering relaxing this financial capability, capping the 40% of the average turnover to the joint venture as a whole? Is that would you guys open to have that considerations?
Yeah, thanks for the question. In response to the first part, the power of attorney or the representative of the joint venture need not be from the lead partner, but they just need to be a representative who has the agreement from the joint venture parties to sign and act on behalf of the joint venture. They needn't come from one or the other in particular. That was the first question.
The second one about the relaxation, I think As we have mentioned in our requirement itself, so for the lead, we still demanded 40%, and then the minimum one, and the second 25%. So I don't think, I'm not saying like that, but I don't think we can do in those relaxation on that one, Pak Mike, because this is something that need to be met. But of course, if you have the three, if you cannot manage by two of you, you can just put another one for the joint venture member. It's also, we agree that we can allow you to make it more maximum 3. So I think we cannot just put it 40% for all. So yeah, but we will give you clarification on that, Pak Kenneth. But so far, I don't think we can go to realization on that, Pak Mike.
No, look, those values have been set based on many years of bank contracts and experience.
Yeah.
So that they're set based on past evidence. It's unwise and risky to reduce those numbers further.
Yeah. Okay, Pak Kenneth, I hope this answer is okay. So before I move to the in-person participant here, I just forgot to answer the question about, will we contact you one by one to do the bidding? No, we will not contact you. We just put in the website the announcement. You can just check regularly for its link that we already share to you, even from the MDB's website as well. So please just find all the announcement there. Okay, so I have the lady want to raise the question, please.
Thank you. And that's good timing. So I know that, sir, you just mentioned the 40%. I'm wondering if there's any flexibility for the junior partner instead of it being 25%. Is there flexibility on that number to come down to a 10%?
Well, the decision really sits with the ministry, but the advice that we are providing, given the joint and several liability of the joint venture partners, is to keep that number at a reasonable level, so that if one of the parties in the joint venture decides they've had enough, the other party still has the financials, in particular, to continue with the contract. So it may be that because if one of the parties to the joint venture decides to leave, the other is required to complete the contract. And so that risk needs to be covered off. Obviously, the later you get into the contract, the lower the risk, etc. But particularly early on, that level needs to be high enough to cover the completion of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so sorry about that.
No, it's just a question. My next question is in regards to the, I understand that there won't be individual responses to our inputs, answers to the questionnaires regarding the specs and any input that we have there. So I would urge, I mean, I don't know what the review process is in terms of ensuring the, an equitable and competitive landscape for potential bidders on some of these. I know that in some of the tenders, there are specs that, don't quite fit in. I mentioned this you earlier, there's potentially areas where we could have only our highest level of equipment where that might not be the best fit for the actual facility. So we appreciate your, review and consideration of that point when you look through the questionnaires as you revise the final spec documents. And then my actual question, kind of taking a turn from what we've been talking about thus far, is about the Islamic Development Bank and that funding. And how, I'm curious, are there two separate funding mechanisms? Given that there's the World Bank and then ISDB, and then how do we, how will that work in practice?
Okay, I think I'm not really about the technical specification. I think for the CAT lab, for example, you still have a kind of opportunity to give feedback and just put it in the link. But so far, I got too many feedback as well from your company. So just from the feedback, we will try to look at it. But I'm not saying that we will accept all the feedback. But I'm
course,
not saying
of
as
course.
well that we reject all the
No, of
feedback. So let us digest it. And we also have kind of the consultant, even like from in our hospital, from our referral hospital, we also have the technical specification demanded from them because based on their needs. So this is something, how can we fix the technical specification? So we got their need from the hospital, so we can just set up the requirement. We also have some advices from the consultant. And once it put it together, we just spread it to all of you. And starting at that time, we can just go back and forth to make it more better. But of course, we cannot deal with everyone requirement. So that's the way we try to solve our specification. But once again, once we share or disclose the technical specification, feel free to give us any feedback with all the channels that are provided in our website. And then for the second one, that's the ISDB and the World Bank with the partners is going to be different funding mechanism. Maybe I will invite Bu Nauko and Bu Linda here. Bu Linda is the director for the planning and budgeting. And actually, the way we do the procurement is really depend on the regulation for each of the funding one. So for the ISDB, we will have another vendor conference, especially for the ISDB equipment. Even for the packaging, we already put in the procurement packaging planning in the website as well. We already put the procurement planning, but the way we do the vendor conference, it could be in the different time, but maybe sometime we also can do it together. So that's going to be the different mechanism. So Bu Linda, do you want to add some explanation on this, or I just give it to World Bank? Bu Nauko, you want to give any comment on the different mechanism from the World Bank and the ISDB?
Okay, thank you for the question. I'm from the World Bank. So we always say MDB. MDB means for development banks, ISDB, ADB, AIIB, and World Bank. But ISDB is, we co-finance the Indonesia's program. However, they are in a parallel co-financing, while three of us, we call joint co-financing, because the ISDB has their own regulation that cannot be harmonized. So therefore, the funding source is totally separate. Although we collaborate with each other, procurement guideline is that they follow their own ISDB procurement guideline. So therefore, as Bu Ana said, vendor conference so forth is separate, but that they are equally supporting the MOH's Sihiran component.
Hopefully that answered your question. See? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, please.
Thanks, and apologies if this has been addressed previously in other conferences. You mentioned about domestic preference and how sort of a threshold there would be 30% of labor, raw materials, and components. Is that, I think some of the businesses here have experience of working with the Ministry of Industry on Indonesia's TKDN formula, which is much more complex than that and includes things like training and taxes. And I guess my question is that 30% level simply going to be sort of provided by the vendors and then subject to audit? Or is this going to be the same sort of TKDN formula that's currently in use for non-MDB projects?
No, actually it's not the same like the TKDN formula, because for the domestic preference, it's required. So the mechanism is like this one, as this local, as the equipment is locally produced, so we will compare with local and the imported goods. So which one is more advantageous? So more have the benefit of it. So when we evaluate the imported goods, when we evaluate the imported goods, so we will evaluate the price 15% higher than CIP, the cost, insurance, and paid off of the freight. So that's all. So that's why it's quite different when we are calculating the TKDN in our national one. But basically, still this domestic preference give us to support, give us like the local one. So that's why the evaluation for the imported goods will be evaluated higher in terms of the CIP. Hopefully, so yeah,
But just to confirm, and I think I
Yeah, yeah.
understand how the price preference will work. But to meet the 30% domestic content requirement, that is not not requirement, I'm sorry, the 30 to have
2%.
the if I understood you correctly, the 30% of labor, raw materials and components to qualify as domestically made, that is not a TKDN score of 30%. That's just
No, we don't that. We don't do that. But still, I'm saying that we are promoting our local with this domestic preference, but different way to evaluate. So hopefully that clear. But I also have Pak Budi here. Maybe Pak Budi, can you jump in to explain about this one, because it's quite different. If you know about the TKDN regulation, the calculation is quite different when we talk the domestic preference price. But still, the point is still have the advantage for this one, for the local one. I think that's common to as well, as you know, like we have our local product, so we still put that as not prioritizing, but we will put it as advantage. As you know, for the very low technology, it's going to be distributed in very rural area, and they have their own advantages because they know exactly the area better than the international one. So even like that, the way we think about that one. So Pak Budi, can you jump in if you think you want to put more explanation on this one, Pak Budi?
Yeah, thank you, Ibu Ana. I think the percentage mentioned by Ibu Ana is, related to the purpose of the grouping of the equipment type proposed by the bidder. This is different with the one related to the local content requirement, or TKDN, whereby there is the specific minimum percentage of the local product, in which also actually issued by the Ministry of Industry.
In our slide, we also put kind of the explanation in more detail. So please, we already put all the information on the domestic preference. Okay, I think, is there any question from the virtual? I didn't see.
Ibu Ana, if I may, just to
Okay, Pak Mike.
quickly answer further to that. The domestic preference is unlikely to apply for the cath labs. In fact, it almost certainly will not.
Yeah, sure.
And secondly, to answer your question, it will be a declarative 30% plus audit.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Is there any question from here?
No. A couple of points here, if I can find.
Sorry?
This is Somil Nagpal.
Sorry. Okay, please, Pak Somil.
Just a couple of quick points. One, I think Mike already alluded, but wanted to clarify that domestic preference is currently not applicable to this contract, and it will be clearly specified when it is applicable. So the two contracts that we have currently put on the website, it does not apply to either of them, but it will be specified whenever it applies. So I think that's just a additional point. The second, the previous question on the ISDB, I just wanted to mention again that the list of equipment has been separated for that very reason. So there is no mixing of procurement methods, and vendors for one particular equipment do not have to deal with the systems of more than one bank. For the purposes of the equipment covered under the World Bank AIIB and ADB contracts, the World Bank procurement regulations are applying. And for the ones that are the equipment that are in the ISDB list, the ISDB regulations are applying. So there is no mixing of regulations, and how we manage co-financing is particularly among the three of us together, World Bank, AIIB, and ADB, is essentially transparent to the vendors because they will only see the World Bank guidelines as the lead agency for the procurement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Somel. Okay, it's clear about the list. So everything is on the slide. Yeah, I said to you. I see another two. Hopefully this is the latest one from the GE Healthcare and from the Philip. Concon Molina, can you?
Yes, hi. It's good morning here in Singapore, and so my question is in the lot 1, lot 2, lot 3 for single plane, there would be one set of specification, not different sets of specification for lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3. So is there a possibility that one vendor would be considered for lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3 since the specification is the same?
Yes, yes, of course. As so you are allowed to bid for each lot. You are allowed to bid for each lot, even though the spec is quite the same. So, for example, for me, I can bid lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3 as far as I can meet the all requirement. So, if you look at on the bidding document for the lot 1, if I'm not mistaken, it required the minimum quantity even is 55. For the lot 2, the minimum requirement quantity is 25. And the lot 3 about 50. So in total, it's about 130 cat lab, the minimum quantity. As far as you meet those requirements, you can bid for all those 3. But the one that you are not allowed, if you bid 2 bids only for 1 lot. So you are not allowed to do that. So we call it as the alternative bid. So you only can bid 1 for each lot, but you allow to bid for all lot. I think that's clear.
Yeah, to clarify my question, since the specification is the same for all 3 lots, there is a possibility that one vendor can win all 3 lots.
Yeah, sure. It is possible. If you have the highest score, you can win for all this contract. It's possible to do that. It's possible it happened for this job. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so the next one for the GE Healthcare.
Sorry, it's me again, and I promise my questions will be shorter, but I've got a few questions referring to the contract in the draft tender. The first one would refer to section 36.1, where you stipulate that the supplier cannot assign any of its obligations. But can you please confirm that the supplier would be authorized to assign certain rights, not obligations, but rights? And here I've got in mind in particular the rights to be paid. As mentioned to you in Paris, we intend to monetize some receivables and we need to have the right to assign those receivables.
I don't really get the point, Pak. Sorry. Can you help me, Pak Ahmad? I don't really get the point. Sorry. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can upload the question.
Just a
in,
question from GE. So they effectively they want to enter into a ceiling assignment with a founder. So as explained in Paris, in order to do that, they have to assign certain rights to a third party, including those cash flows that will flow from us, we to the founder. The idea is to monetize future receivable and get paid up front. Those will be discussed on a hell high water.
Well, and here it's not so much about the hell or high water, but here in the contract, it's stipulated that the supplier cannot assign any of its obligations. Fair enough, but we wanted to check if we could assign rights, because we've got some rights under the contract, in particular, the right to be paid.
You remember, we discussed about the separate invoicing.
Oh, okay.
And one of those invoices, we talked about the 5 invoices in Paris.
Yes.
One of those invoices being related to the equipment and the 4 payments of 12 and a half. In order for, in this case, GE or everybody else in this room to monetize those, meaning not waiting 2 years to get paid, but paid upfront, they have to assign that to a funder, a lender. And they have to have the right to assign that because they're transferring rights to get paid.
Yeah.
There is no assignment language in the contract.
Yeah.
So you're required to have assignment language. So effectively,
Well, there is some language in the contract, but only to say that we cannot assign any of our obligations.
Only for the obligations, but not for the rights. That's
in section 36.1. Yeah, it's silent on the rights.
Okay, there's something that, as I said to you, that something that we need to clarify, because actually when at the time we talk about the ownership, if I'm not mistaken, at that time we talk about
correct. Yeah.
See, and then at the time we told you that the equipment will be transferred to the local government, but how can we transfer it? It's going to be in our asset, but all the invoices, I don't know, is it monetized or it's going to be go to the MOH. So I don't think there is any issue on that. So
we discussed the transfer of title and G.
Yeah.
I don't want to just, I don't want to answer on behalf of the G, but G and then the Philips Siemens were all in the room. There was no issue in transferring the title.
Yes.
The problem is the equipment after the 50%, you will have additional 4 payments. So the equipment will not be paid. So here effectively, again, I'm not answering on behalf of the people in the room. You're asking the OEMs to use their balance sheet. And in order to optimize the use of their balance sheet, they want to monetize the residual payments linked to the equipment. In order to do that, GE explained that methodology with the potential, split of invoices. One invoice clearly specifying what was the residual payments linked to the equipment, and 4 invoices linked to the service and the maintenance. In order to do that, even if we do the invoice, they need to have the right to assign that payment to a third party. And invoices language as well as assignment language is currently lacking. Again, I'm not answering on behalf of GE. That's what they explained during the Paris event.
Yeah, I think it's very complicated to do that one. Per section, yeah, I don't think it's going to be workable. So, yeah, but Mike.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify here because I think we're conflating a couple of points. The first is on the payment schedule. So the payment schedule has essentially 50% related to performance of the equipment under the contract and 50% split between advance payment, shipment, and acceptance. Now, in reality, that's not how the capital OPEX split will fall. It's not going to be 50% exactly for the CapEx and 50% exactly for the OPEX. It's going to be, could be 42, could be whatever. So the payment schedule is not related to the capital OPEX split. It's a payment schedule.
Yeah.
So how that capital OPEX split is reflected in invoicing is independent of transfer of ownership or the payment schedule, right? It's just how it's reflected on the invoice, and then that could be that detail can be made available to others who want to derive rights from that, monetizing that CapEx. Does that make sense? With the different things.
Well,
if I may
we raised a concern, Mike, in Paris, because we felt that in order to transfer title at acceptance, we need to invoice the remainder of the equipment price. Otherwise, we cannot transfer title. I don't know if this is the case in Indonesia. I'm not an Indonesian lawyer, but in a lot of countries, you could not transfer title without invoicing. I don't say without paying, right? You can pay in installments over the following 2 years, but we would need to invoice for the equipment value at the time of equipment ownership transfer. So this is an issue that was raised in Paris, and we came up with a suggested, slightly revised invoicing mechanism that we've uploaded on the website that I think would work extremely well to transfer title at the time of acceptance to the hospitals.
Okay, but just to be clear, if, under the CIP Incoterm, the transfer of ownership, as you've put it, is not related to payment at all.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah, we can be paid over time. It's invoicing.
Yeah, so the transfer of ownership under CIP, it transfers once it hits the point of departure. So if we're shipping from New York, the ownership transfer happens once those documents have been, of the shipping documents, and they're listed in the bid documents, have been passed to the client, right, under CIP. Then the insurance takes over, the insurance for the shipment, and the beneficiary would be the ministry because they are now the owner. So if the ship sinks, the ministry gets paid for the assets that's sitting at the bottom of the sea, right? Doesn't matter. They're not. They're independent concepts. Payment can be made later, right, as it currently is planned to be, but ownership has already been transferred under CIP once those goods are shipped. Now, that means that the ministry is obliged to pay, right? They have to pay. They may pay later, but they must pay, right? Because ownership has transferred. Then once the goods arrive in Indonesia, there is a separate payment line item because it's the CIP bit's finished. And now we have inland transport, which is separate. Am I explaining that clearly? So the CIP price includes not just the goods, right? Includes the training and the initial consumables and et cetera, commissioning, testing, all of that. It's not just the asset, right? And that CIP ownership of the asset transfers once the CAT lab's on the boat out of New York, and then the payment schedule will follow. Is that clear?
Yes, I think that's the one that we want to explain it, and then later on we will put it in the written explanation part. So we cannot just disaggregate between CAPEX and OPEX. So, and it's something different with the transfer of the title. So I think we can just end up this explanation on that one. But still, please, we will provide you the written explanation on this one. And Pa Somil, do you still have any comment on this, or can I just go to another one because we still?
I think the point to provide a written comment is very well taken, and we'll be doing that. But I just wanted to maybe rephrase the question here. Once a vendor has invoiced, are they able to use a future receivable to go to a commercial bank and get a loan against it? I mean, I'm just trying to simplify the word of monetization. This is whether they can get the cash flow upfront by using their future receipts against a bank which is willing to accept the risk of delayed payment and charge them. So this is kind of a routine commercial practice, and we may need to check in our contract language whether there is anything that prohibits it or doesn't, so we can come back with a written explanation. But I think the point about the ability of a vendor to monetize a future receivable or to take a loan against their future rights to receive money, if a bank is willing to finance against that, is kind of a little beyond the scope of the contract itself, and then maybe something that we need to just double check if the contract has anything that prohibits it. So we can come back on that separately.
Yes. Okay, Pak Samuel, thank you. So from the GE Healthcare, okay, so that's so far for the discussion here, and then we will give you another written explanation on that one. So can you just please lower hand after having question? So can I just get some people are still raising hand? There are still 3 people from the Philip, GE, and Philip again. So hopefully this is very last question, because the same question are raising many times. So from the GE or Philip, please.
So yeah, thanks Bu Ana, Dr. Andi, Pak Haryadi. Question, Bu Ana, regarding the rated criteria, we understand that it allows us to focus on quality, sustainability, and innovation, which most of them can be found in the technical specifications documents, right? But besides those points marked in orange in the document, is there any other parameter that may add extra value in the evaluation that we should be aware of? And then my second question, Bu Ana, if allowed, I raised question about the technical specification of the MRI that will be given the points in the rightmost column, right? And by when can vendor expect to receive the updated file? Because I think this evening I checked in the website, it is still the same technical specifications for MRI that was uploaded long time ago. Thank you, Bu.
Okay, let me check. We should, I think, my team, can you check the MRI technical specification supposed to be the colored one, not the blank colored one. Suti, we will put it as soon as possible. About the domestic, I cannot explain about the word more valuable. Everything will put in the bidding document what it's gonna be applicable for us to put the domestic preference, Pak Yuda. So just be patient for that one. I cannot talk about this one right now. But basically the golden rule about the domestic preference, as I said before. Okay, Pak Yuda?
No,
Okay.
actually my question was regarding the rated criteria, Bu. I mean, like, besides the points that is marked in orange, as the extra points in the documents, is there any other parameters that may add value during the evaluation that we should be aware of?
What do you think? Which area? Actually, for the orange one, it's going to be which one will be scored higher? Of course, the most advanced features, the most, so that's something more valuable, so it's going to be scored higher.
So if I may sum up, the rated criteria will be calculated by summing all the points in the technical specifications documents.
Yes.
That's very clear.
For the technical specification come from only the orange one, not the green. Okay?
That's very clear, Bu Ana. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, from Philips. We have 2 from the, I cannot see the.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the same. We met each other on Monday in Paris. So Bu Ana, good day to you and to everyone. In continuation of Yuda, what he was just mentioning about the weighting part, you earlier indicated the invite to share our comments and thoughts with you based upon this. But I think I would like to make a general comment, and I would like to hear your thoughts on this, is when we're talking about, let's say, 70-30 with 70 on price and 30 on technical, I can imagine that the overall intention is to focus on, let's say, the quality for the Indonesian healthcare system. So what I fear, let's say in general, that if you focus more on, let's say, pricing, that the criteria will be met with respect to pricing, but what you will be missing or could potentially be missing is, let's say, the services related to this, where, for example, trainings and things like this, which could potentially then be eliminated from the offer as such. My worry is, in that case, is would there then be too much on a focus on let's say, price rather than on the quality as such?
Yes, thank you. So I have mentioned many times before that for the quality requirement is already put the minimum requirement in the green area. And if you look at down, there is some requirement on the training one. So it's already mentioned there about what the minimum requirement for the training one. So I cannot recall everything, but just let us double check about this one. But of course, the concern about the price or technical specification will be our concern as well. So if you have any specific criteria in the orange one, please give some notes on that. Because I cannot remember all, but so please within 1 or 2 days, give us some feedback. Which of area, which of requirement that you think should be valuable more? That's why you think we should increase our technical specification, not only 30%, but maybe 40. But we have to come from the orange part, or even you think that something should be valuable more. So
Thank you for the
I'm looking forward from the feedback, but please give us as soon as possible for the feedback, and we will think about that one.
Thank you for your clarification. We will do so. Thank you.
Thank you. And another one from Nada Philip. Hopefully this is very last question, please.
Yes, hello. My question is more on the practical side. So we have a single stage 2 envelope bidding, and we can do 1 bid per lot, right? So if for the CAT lab there are 4 lots, does this mean that we have to submit 2 envelopes per lot, or can we combine them? That you basically have 2 envelopes containing the information of all 4 lots, but in those 2 envelopes, especially with the financial part, the financial envelope, you see that there is a single bid per lot.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just answer this question? So basically for each lot, it's going to be evaluated within 2 states or 2 envelopes. So by means, if you will bid 3 lots, you have to submit each of them 2 envelopes. 1 for the technical, 1 for the prices. So you cannot just submit 1 for 3 lots.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear. And then I have one remaining question, my last one. This is as a foreign entity, whether it can import directly in Indonesia, as current regulations prohibits foreign entities to import goods in the country. So the company actually need to be local and owner of the goods to import in Indonesia.
So actually, I cannot catch the I cannot hear the voice because up and down. But basically, we don't have any specific regulation that companies should be locally or not, and there is no obligation for the international to have partner from the local one. Is it answer the question? Because your voice up and down, I cannot really hear clearly.
Okay, but the response that you gave me was clear, and it answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, then I think this is the last one. As we almost 1 p.m. right now. And once again, this is not the end of the discussion. We still have some upcoming. Yeah, we will have another upcoming vendor conference as well once we drop another technical specification. Once we have another technical specification. And there are still opportunities for you to give us the feedback in our website. So please give us all those feedback so we can just put all the thought and make it more consideration on that. So I think this is the end of the discussion session. So, is there anyone? Who? Simon, are you the same person or different? Simon, I think Yeah, from the Simon. Is it the new raising hand or you just didn't lower?
Bu Ana,
Yes. Please.
Bu Ana. Selamat
Ah.
pagi. Hi, it's Jonas Haltinia. Yeah,
Don't
just
about joint venture,
very
yeah?
quick, very quick.
Please, yes.
Very quick one about joint venture. It's
Yes, don't
it's
ask
about
me about joint venture, huh?
specifications. I think that there has been already a few comments.
Sorry,
No, not
Pak.
about Bu.
Not-
It's about
Sorry.
specifications. And
Yeah, it seems that something trouble with the connection, Pak John. I cannot hear your voice. Yes, Pak
Bu
John,
Ana,
please.
can you hear me?
Yes, right now, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Bu Ana, so just from a specifications perspective, we have, of course, used the channel and the email as well to submit the specifications. And we also got a reply that the International Vendor Conference is being held. And I was informed to raise my hand, right, to ask the question for prompt answers. So I'm doing that exactly now, and we hope that MOH and the World Bank can review all of the input and release the updated specifications as soon as possible. Before that, for us to review.
Sure, sure. Thank you. So for all the feedback from the technical specification, of course, we need to look at more detail. We cannot just say no or yes. That's why we need to discuss it internally. We have to involve our hospital. We have to involve our consultant. Of course, we will back to you as soon as possible. So when we talk about the CAT lab, we will finalize as soon as possible. And then we will give all of the vendors the notification about that one. See, I will put it in the website, the notification, once we uploaded the new or the final technical specification. Even though like we already launched the CAT lab, you still have another opportunity to discuss in pre-bid meeting. But hopefully everything is settled down in the pre-bid meeting. So that's Pak Jonathan. I think
Wonderful, Bu Ana. We are looking forward to a successful bid with our Ministry of Health and World Bank. That is very helpful. Thank you, Bu Ana.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so please, once again, thank you for all the coming, even like in person or virtually. So thank you, and please support us for our program. Thank you. Give it back to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu and Bapak from Ministry of Health. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participant, we have reached the end of the vendor conference launch project event. Before we close the event and also proceed to lunch, we would like to invite the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, the Mr. Consul General, and also representative from the World Bank to take the seat, as we will do a photo together. Please, Bapak. And I would like to also invite all the participants to stand around the speakers, and then we will take a picture together. Nah, ada World Bank. Please, all right. Okay, on my mark. 1, 2, 3. Probably one more. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We do provide lunch that you can access at the back. And also, before you leave, we would like to ask for your kind cooperation to fill out your name here for our accountability measures. Thank you. But the Minister of Health changed the schedule.